Hi there and welcome back to Triplicate. This video was originally going to be one or two small updates on the hardware build, and I was going to move on to getting the audio working and do the vast majority of the hardware build off camera for speed and costs. I can't imagine anybody'd want to watch me drilling holes. However, I've sort of changed my mind and decided I will include a short video, make this a short video of the hardware build and just say this is what I've done and actually go on way do the drilling off camera. Okay, so as a sanity check I decided to actually build a front panel out of card, quite thin card, which would go through the printer. So I didn't need to muck around with the sticky back stuff. So this is probably going to all fall apart. Has all the boards screwed to the back and the knobs on the front, and glad I did it because I found, because it's bigger than A4, I've got to use two sheets because I only have an A4 printer, and where they join here they don't seem to line up particularly well. So I decided to have somewhere across here, down here basically, that doesn't cross any PCB. Let's see, there's two PCBs there, but this goes straight through that, in the middle of that PCB, which would make it all hard to line up. So I put that, which is the LFO. He says I'm to look at the picture. I move that to there and put that mean green logo there. So shall we move on and get ready to drill some holes? So because the front panel is bigger than A4, I've got to print it out on two sheets. So I only have an A4 printer of the sticky back paper. So I'm going to cut this one down about there, which means that no actual board goes over the join, because I did find out that they didn't line up 100% brilliantly. So let's get those stuck on the we'll get that one cut down and get them stuck on the front panel and hopefully nicely lined up. Okay, so there it is with the self-adhesive label. The solder's label is just the self-adhesive paper all stuck down onto the front panel, ready for me, I think it'll be tomorrow, to start drilling some holes. Okay, ready to start drilling, but realised made a bit of a error. Put these diamonds in to line up the two halves, and that one I somehow seem to have lost the little spot to drill the hole for the display mounting. However, I have that, which is the bit I cut off there, I think. Yeah, the bit I cut off there. So I am going to pinch this corner here and I've lost it. It's there. It's here. I've actually done what I thought I was going to do there. No matter. The advantage of using plastic screws is they've got a bit of bend in them. If you get the hole not exactly lining up right, and I'm now going to need a knife to get that backing off that one. There we go, so that's the edge there. Excuse me while I put the light in front. Okay, so I think that's good. So I'm going to drill them all 2mm to start with, and then drill them out to the size they should be. So I'll bring you back when I've done that. Okay, here we are. All the holes are drilled, hopefully to the right sizes, apart from the big one in the middle for the joystick, and to do that I have been waiting for a hole cutter, which I now have, obviously. And the problem we have here is that I cannot get this under the pillar drill because there isn't room between the pillar and the drill. I think that one was the furthest I could drill. So I'm gonna have to do this by hand. So I thought, since I was making a video of this, I'd at least show you one hole being drilled, and it's gonna be this one. So at this point you have to ask yourself, as usual, if I make a complete mess of this, am I going to include it in the video? So what's the chances of something humorously bad happening and you getting to see it? Okay, so I will turn you off and set this up on the desk to drill. Okay, so here we go. Two supports front and back, two either side of the hole, piece of scrap plywood to catch the end of the drill when it comes through. Shall we try and line this up nicely? I think that's lined up nicely. We have, sure you can see this, yeah, just about. Do get my camera a bit higher up, but I don't think I can do that. We have a couple of clamps to hold it all in place, I hope. And we have a drill. Okay, let's go for it. I think I am going to initially take that spring off. That is just to try and stop the piece you cut out being wedged in the drill. Okay, now I think we got away with that. I think I've just cracked the, taken a chunk out where the drill goes through. I put the drill on high speed as well instead of screwdriver, which was okay. I was going to drill through with an intermediate sized drill, but it's gone through. Just as it went through, it caught the... So, do this on camera. This thing back in. So, oh, doesn't actually look completely lined up, but never mind, it doesn't matter because there's plenty of spare. Lovely smell of burning plastic. How's it done? It hasn't caught any of the holes. I think that looks good. I'm happy with that. And I forgot to put the spring back in, so I've now got to try and chisel that piece out somehow. Okay, so I guess I will try and get rid of some of this. Clean that hole out, and then I reckon we're ready to do some reassembling, which again I will do off camera. So I'll bring you back when I have a nice assembled front panel. Okay, so here it is, and I've for now just hot melt glued the front panel into its frame. I might at some point do some fancy thing to hold it in, but for now that's going to get us going. One other thing, another unfortunate thing is, I put some white behind it and you can see it. I did crack the panel when I started drilling it. However, that's not going to stop us moving forward because it's still solid enough, and it's a prototype in the end. And you can get pretty cheap vinyl, adhesive back vinyl sheet printed up, so I could just get something like that printed up and stick it on. Nobody would know. I am going to assemble it all off camera because it's going to be pretty slow and tedious. However, the one thing, it's another string of hot melt glue, I'm going to show you is this joystick, which looks really nice, but I couldn't find anywhere any instructions on how to assemble it. So it must be really obvious and I'm being really dense, but we'll have a look anyway. Does it? You're supposed to assemble it like that, or that on top and that underneath, or I eventually concluded because this edge is higher than that edge, so the rubber must go under this inside edge, so it must be assembled by fighting the rubber sealing sheet up through the hole like that. Deciding which way it's going to go, that way would seem sensible. I mean, it can all be compensated for in software. Trying to line this up on here and probably failing. Putting this on top, and here I have two of the screws and another string of hot melt glue. And trying to get these screws through that hole, located in the joystick. Just back this down. There's one. Here's two. Come on. In you go. And that's it. Two more screws to put in the corners, but I'll do that off camera. And that's it now. That looks really neat. I like that joystick. So I shall assemble the rest of the bits of the pieces from the cardboard front panel into the proper front panel, and I'll bring you back and show you the finished result. Okay, so there she is. Front panel all back together. Oh, nice, the joystick. Fought me in places. The trouble is with these switches, they're just soldered down on the surface of the strip board. So one or two of them were lined up brilliantly. The countersunk screws were too short to hold the display on, so I've got 3 panhead ones, and I couldn't find any more. I'll buy some longer countersunk ones. Apart from that, we're pretty good. Hinges aren't back on, and we'll look underneath. Only the display is wired up, but we're going to do it as we go along, which doesn't mean they've all got to come off again, but it's not a problem if we're doing one at a time, not all together. So I think that I will call that on this sort of little show and tell, really, on the Mean Green synthesizer. And next time we'll try and get the audio working, but for now, if you like the channel, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up if you like this video, leave a comment if you've got anything to say, and for now it's goodbye from Triplicate, home of interesting electronics. Goodbye.